Hi, this is Jeff and Vinny with Dotcom Computers. Today we're going to be looking at changing the LCD screen on an Altigen IP705 phone. A lot of times these phones have very sensitive screens, and we've noticed that they have a habit of breaking, and some people just have their screens go bad randomly on them. So we have a lot of customers calling us up asking how to replace the screen. To change the screen on your Altigen IP705, you'll need a few simple tools. The first tool is a #1 Phillips head screwdriver. Use this to remove the screws in your phone. You'll need a larger flathead screwdriver for prying your phone apart to get at the screen. And lastly, you'll need 2 small flathead screwdrivers. You use these to remove the ribbon cable from the motherboard. Altigen IP705 kit comes with everything you need to replace the screen, including the screen itself, a ribbon cable for connecting to the motherboard, and 2 self-adhesive rubber pads that hold the screen in place properly. As you can see with our phone, we clearly have a bad display on it. A bunch of the pixels are bleeding out and the other pixels are entirely not lighting. So what we're going to do today is we're going to change out the phone for you. So if we go ahead and place the phone on the desk, and we'll show you the steps to change this out. You'll want to disconnect your phone from any power source. You don't want to change this while any electricity is running through it. You could fry some of the sensitive electronics. Next, you'll want to remove some screws from the phone. We've already gone ahead and done this, but you'll have to remove them yourselves just for the sake of time. And there's also some screws on the front. This screw right here that we're about to show you is an important one. A lot of people tend to miss it and they wonder why they can't open up their phone. So make sure you go ahead and get that screw out. Afterwards, you'll be able to start prying open your phone. Here's where the larger flathead screwdriver would come in handy, because you'd be able to get in there and get some leverage and lift it up. So as you go and separate this from the other side of it, you'll want to open it up to the side, the hook switch side, so that it lays flat and that you protect the wires and the wires don't stretch and the wires don't bend or break. From here, you'll be able to see the ribbon cable located towards the bottom of the motherboard. To remove the ribbon cable, simply just pull up on the black tab on either side. You'll notice them located. Once you do this, you can hear a small popping sound and the blue part will just come right out. From here on, you'll want to grab your #1 Phillips head screwdriver again and come back to the screen. There's an orange plastic piece that holds the screen in place. You'll want to undo the screws that hold this in place to release the screen. Once the screen is loose, you'll be able to remove the ribbon cable from underneath the motherboard, and you'll see that there are currently 2 adhesive rubber pads holding your old screen in place. What you'll need to do is you'll need to take the larger flathead screwdriver and you'll need to pry open these rubber pads to remove the screen from it. To pry open the screen from the orange plastic piece, what you'll need to do is you'll need to take your large flathead screwdriver and pry into the rubber on the screen. And this will separate your old screen, which you'll be able to throw away, from the rubber on the orange plastic. Now you'll need to scrape away at any remaining residue on the orange plastic to ensure that you have a clean surface for mounting your new screen. This is very important, otherwise your screen may not install correctly and you may have some wobbliness in it or an improper fit. Now that you removed all rubber adhesive from your orange plastic backing, you'll be able to begin installing your new screen kit. You'll go ahead and remove that this time and you'll unwrap it. First off, you'll want to be able to put a small crease in your screen the same way that you had it before. This way, when you go to route the cable underneath the motherboard, it'll fit and your screen will still be able to install. So this time you want to go ahead and you want to start threading that cable through and underneath your motherboard. You might want to lift your case up at a slight angle. This angle allows you to see under the motherboard and generally gives you a better approach to rounding it under. Once the ribbon cable has been routed underneath the motherboard, next step will be to push it back into place. To do this, you'll want to make sure that your ribbon cable is firmly seated before pushing in on both black tabs with the screwdrivers. If your ribbon cable is properly installed, you shouldn't notice any slack or any give when you tug on it, and that way you'll know you have a good connection for your screen. Now we can turn our attention back to the screen that we had earlier. You may notice some black markings or discolorations on your screen. Don't worry, this is just the screen protector that's installed on every screen. You'll want to peel that off and then you'll be able to install your phone screen. You'll notice some tracks along the bezel of the phone. This is the lines that you want to use to line up your screen when you install it. So you'll want to make sure that it's firmly slotted in there when you lay it down. Now that Vinny has the screen firmly in place, the next step will be to remove the adhesive backing on your screen. Once you've removed the adhesive backing on the new rubber pads, you'll want to reinstall the orange plastic backing. To do this, line up your screw holes with the holes of the bezel, and then once that's properly done, you'll be able to use your screwdriver, your Phillips number 1, and you'll be able to reinstall the screws that you took out earlier at the start of this video. With the screen in place, you can now put your clamshell phone back together. Now, before you go ahead and screw your phone back together, what we like to do is we like to do a test to make sure that everything is installed correctly and it's working properly. So go ahead and make sure your phone is in DC mode. You want to make sure it's in DC mode, otherwise it won't turn on. Or if you're using a PoE switch, make sure it's in PoE mode. And then from here, you should be able to see your screen boot up, and you should see a properly working, fully lit screen. If you don't see this, then you might have to go back a step and make sure that your ribbon cable is properly installed. From here on out, you can finish the screws and you can screw your clamshell back together, and you now have a working IP705 phone with a proper screen. If you like this video, please feel free to follow us. You can find us on the web at www.dcomcomputers.com.